always a good look.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody. I'm here with Steve Richards, and we are talking about a very special event that's coming up October 10th and 11th in Indianapolis. And it's going to be for investors who've done $100,000 in their business in the last year. They want to get to $200,000 and $300,000, but they keep working so hard, they can't push past where they're at right now. Steve, have you ever felt that way?
Oh man, yeah. For years and years, brother. For years and years, I did.
How many years exactly have you been in this business? At least 20 years, right?
Yeah. So October is 20 years,
Oh, it's
and
coming up this October. Wow. And that's when the event is.
I know actually we can have like a 20-year anniversary for me at the event. It'll be a combo
Dude,
deal.
that would be amazing. Well, what is it? And you're coming to the event, right? You're going to be one of 15 investors there. What is it that you think has gotten you out of those situations where you felt like you're working harder, but you're not getting more free time? You're not pushing past where you're currently at.
Yeah, it's we've talked about this a lot, David, and it's like near and dear to my heart. This epidemic level issue of people that get into this business, any business, it really doesn't matter, but we're talking about real estate. But it's funny that you get this burning desire, like, I want to go full time in my business. I want to go full time. I can't wait to quit my job. I can't wait to quit my job. Like, you don't realize what you're actually saying is, I can't wait to start a really crappy new job, like with a crappy boss, no guaranteed pay, no benefits. Like, you trade one job out for another. And I think for me, I've done about 1,300 flips, and the first 600 of them were a job, a hustle, and the last 700 has been as a business. And the big difference is having systems and processes, like understanding the activities that actually are important instead of wasting your time on things that aren't. And secondly, figuring out how to apply people to the mix, so you can create leverage. So the systems and the people give you leverage, and then you can own a business instead of own a job.
Well, you said you actually quit your job thinking that you're going to start a business and have all this freedom. But what you end up doing is creating another job for yourself. Now,
A crappy one.
yeah. Now, you came last year to the DealMachine Academy event. And I remember one thing that you said was one relationship can change your trajectory. Can you think of a time that maybe that's happened for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could give you 100 examples because I believe heavily in the coaching, training, masterminds. I mean, I'll answer your question, but I'll take one little digression here real quick. If you live inside of a little bubble, you never can grow bigger than yourself. You only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. And it's not just the one, yes, what I said, one relationship can change everything, but getting outside of your bubble, you got to break out of your norm too, like just the day to day, like getting to like traveling to Indy, especially for the folks that aren't from here, and going to that hotel, being around different people, doing something different, kind of breaking the pattern is, and then once you're in that mindset, you're more open to running into these relationships, and at least for me, I don't know I know you're in several masterminds too. I always end up gravitating towards a few different people. I'm not, anyone that knows me thinks I'm all extroverted and I'm a big social butterfly, but I'm actually not. I'm really pretty introverted. I usually find one or two people and I hone in on them, and those are kind of my people. But it really changes everything, especially when you're at home, if you're full time in this business and you're kind of at the top of the hill, if that makes sense, David. Like, your employees are coming to you, your spouse is looking to you, like your business partner is looking to you. Like, when you don't have a peer to go talk to or somebody that understands where you are, what you're going through, sometimes it's really hard to to grow and get past that, and you can get kind of depressed too. Like, just being around other like-minded people is important, and I try to do it once every couple months.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I know there's been times in my business where I have felt stressed and I stopped talking with people because I was so stressed. I wanted to fix the problem myself, but that actually didn't help. And what helped was talking with people about the issues that I'm having, and then learning that, like, oh yeah, they've been there too, and this is what they did to get out of that situation. So that's personally how I've enjoyed going to some of these masterminds. Now, I did want to talk about what the actual format of the event is. So it's going to be 2 days, October 10th and 11th. And there's going to be 15 investors, each who have done over 100K in their business. So you could be one of them. And the format is that everybody gets 20 minutes to give a presentation about their business, kind of who they are, why they started their business, what they've accomplished so far. And then they can ask the room for help. Like, what's your biggest challenge? And then the other investors in the room can share their experiences that have helped them get through a similar challenge. And with investors like Steve, Steve was somebody who spoke up last year many, many times. And I felt like the group got a ton of value from. So that's why I'm doing this live with Steve. Steve, you did like 1,300 deals, I think, when I checked in with you last year, right? Like you've done a lot of deals, and you've actually built your business up in a way that a lot of people dream to, not a lot of people achieve, but you are out of the day-to-day business, right? Is that still the case?
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
so you have a hired team.
Yeah. It's a totally different mindset. I mean, there's so many people that are in real estate, and it's not that everybody has to, it's not about being out of the day-to-day. It's about having the option to be out of the day-to-day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about not having to do the stuff you don't like or you're not good at. That's what it's more about, right? Because there's a lot of people that enjoy different aspects of the business. And I think sometimes people stress over having to hire everybody and having to do all these different things. If you enjoy parts of the business, that's cool. But the big thing is like if your kid needs you, or you want to take a vacation with your spouse, or your car breaks down, and you need a chunk of cash, or you need some time away, is your business giving you the time and money to do the things you need to do in your life, right? And that's what it's more about. It's not about getting every little T crossed and every I dotted and having some perfect business. It's about knowing what you want out of life and making sure that your business is supporting you rather than you supporting it. And that's why I like these formats. Like last year, David, I thought that group, it's small enough that it's intimate and connected, but it's big enough that there was a diverse group there.
Yeah.
And when you get to see what everybody else is doing, it's very inspiring and motivating, right? To go back and do more in your business, I feel like.
100%. And we had some heavy hitters there too. But there's somebody listening that may be qualified, might hear that you've done 1,300 deals and feel like they've got nothing to present about. So if you're thinking that, I just wanted to kind of alleviate that concern, because there's a pathway to get to where you're at. There's a million pathways, right? Everybody's taking a different pathway. And then you sharing that can teach somebody something brand new or inspire them, right? So I just wanted to alleviate that concern if everyone's feeling like, well, man, if Steve's going to be one of these investors there, I'm not good enough. If you've done 100K in revenue, you're good enough. And so I wouldn't stress about that presentation. The other thing is I think guys like Steve would be somebody who last year like gave some of the best advice. People felt like they got the most value from, because Steve's speaking up to help you with your challenge every single time. So that's going to be 2 days, basically 15 people give those presentations over 2 days. We'll do epic dinners. We did a group workout both days, and it's at the Alexander Hotel in Indianapolis. The DealMachine team will also be there. So it's going to be a really fun event. Steve, how come you're coming back this year?
Well,
you already went 1 year.
You paid me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm completely kidding. No, I wouldn't miss this for the world. I just think, first of all, it's a blessing that it's in my backyard, so I don't have to travel, because I travel a decent amount. But, I've known you since you got into business, right? And I feel like we have a relationship. I feel like people may not know this, but I was in the tech world when I got out, because I'm old. I'll be 50 here in a year and a half or less. But when I got out of college, I did tech consulting with the .com days. And I love software. So I've enjoyed watching you guys do what you do, and I love tech, and I've got that draw to it too. But honestly, the quality of people that were in the room, this is like real talk here, like for real talk, because, I don't hold back. I would have had a polite excuse that I couldn't come if I didn't think that it was a valuable room to be in. You know what I mean? I've been like, oh man, David, thanks. But my kid's, getting his teeth cleaned or something, I would have had some excuse.
Yeah.
But the reality is I want to come back because I felt like that room was was great for all of us. And I know that Corey Boatwright was there and some other folks that are very experienced. And I know that we maybe have done more deals, but I'll tell you, everybody's helping everybody. And if you want to be good at something, practice, but if you want to be great, teach. And even if you're the guy that's only down $100,000, I guarantee that you're doing some hustle move because you have more time than you do money, that I'm probably going to be like, damn, you're doing that? Like, we would have never thought of that. Like, it's going to be the one thing that will move the needle for me. And then, yeah, maybe I share 10 things because I've been doing it for 20 years. But even if it's just me sharing different things, like, this is the joke that I think a lot of people, this will resonate with anyone who's been in the business for a while. But as soon as something starts working as an entrepreneur, what do? We change it. We quit doing it. And so, like, half the time in these rooms, I'm like, oh, you guys need to do this. And I'm thinking, I got to call someone at the office because I don't know if we do that. So there's all these reasons about reinforcing what you know, building relationships. And for me, the business is very secondary. I mean, I met a couple guys I didn't know last year that I still talk to on and off. And I'm all about the people side and making an impact and building relationships. And so, I don't know. What did I just give you? 7 reasons why I'm coming back? I mean, I think
That's a lot of reasons.
Probably good enough right
yeah.
there.
A couple of people that are also going to come back, I know for sure, is Paul Myers. So he's actually bringing his wife this time too. Cool. And so they're making a little trip out of it. I did a live with him on Friday, but in case somebody missed it, Paul's around like 1.3 million revenue from wholesaling in Augusta, Georgia. And I know we've heard from several others that may be coming back. I know Oscar and Fred, since they actually, they're going to probably come back as well. But they've actually joined a franchise since we talked to them. So I know they'll probably have a new set of things that they want to talk about, coming back to this event because their world's kind of changed a whole lot. And then, yeah, like last year, somebody was, driving around, but they were doing like $700,000 in revenue. And I think we told them like, hey, you got to hire somebody to drive around unless it's the thing you love the most, in the business. You remember that?
Yeah. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, how are you doing all that? Yeah. And there was another, I think this is a different person, but there was, I don't remember his name, but there was the guy from Northern Indiana. I think that he's like 20.
Capel Singler.
Yeah, he was crushing. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking, like, when I was your age, I just had gotten out of college and I couldn't even go to work on Fridays because I was still going to the bars like I was in college. Like, I was sleeping in. I mean, I was like a highly unresponsible adult at that age, and he's running such a crazy business. It was cool. It was really cool.
It's so cool. So if you guys are thinking about this, there's a link down below. If you click that link, you can learn more about the event and some of the people that came and what they took away last year. And you can fill out that form. It's an application form. It's pretty simple though. And if you've done over 100K in your business so far, we would love to talk to you about if this event's a good fit for you. And one of the things that you said kind of reminded me, like the people here are going to be kind of where you're at or above you. And what's amazing is it can reaffirm what you already know. And I kind of have experienced this in business, but more recently, even with like a hobby of mine, wake surfing, where I've got somebody that drives the boat for me, but I'm kind of a little bit more advanced than them. And they were like, well, you got to do this to do the 360, the trick. Right. And then I just was like, I don't know, like, I've done more of these than you have, but I hired a pro and he actually told me the same thing. But then once he said it, then I fully committed to doing it and then, got that trick down. And so it's really powerful when you can hear from somebody who's achieved what you want to achieve, what you should be doing, or at least their advice on what you're experiencing and going through. And so that's a huge benefit to coming for an event like this. Plus, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, if you guys are listening, check out the link below. Steve, any final thoughts that you would want to share with somebody who's considering it?
I'll tease one thing. Is that cool?
Please, yeah.
If I'll either work this into my comments or maybe I'll get a little time to share this. But we've had some pretty big moves since then. Some of the people watching, if they were there last year, know I own a company called Team Architects. But we've gone over 13,000 candidates now have taken the assessment we use. We help companies hire people. We have literally helped people hire hundreds and hundreds of acquisitions people and transaction coordinators and dispositions managers. And we've been studying off of these thousands and thousands of candidates, like what traits are important, which ones aren't. And we've come up with some really cool stuff. So I'm excited to share that at the event, what we've learned. So if anybody's trying to hire, I know that's near and dear to my heart, and one thing that I'll be looking forward to sharing with everybody. I think it'll be cool.
That's awesome. Well, you actually gave the assessment to people that were at the event last year, and that was a huge hit, right? People learn a lot about themselves and how they work, and knowing that can structure their business around what their strengths are. So that was an awesome hit. I would love to hear what your results are from doing 13. You said 1,300 candidates?
No, 13,000 candidates.
13,000. Like, people, when you say that, you're saying like real estate investors are using the team architect survey to hire for their positions that
and
they
they're
have
running
open.
all their candidates through, and 85% of those candidates have not been interviewed
because they didn't match, right?
Because they didn't finish the test, they didn't match. I mean, think how much time. I mean,
right.
That's over 9,000 interviews we've saved people, because it's just crazy what you don't know until you run one of those assessments. And I don't know if it makes sense to do it again, but I would be happy to give that away free again. But I just I think in a group like this, those kinds of things that are going to pop up about hiring, or like software, those leverage points, those are the nuggets. Like, meeting the people is cool, but then you go home with like figuring out one thing about hiring somebody better, or one software that's, adding to the mix. Like, it just makes such a huge difference.
Thanks for being so generous with that too. I know it's not a cheap assessment. It was a huge hit last year, and another perk for actually coming. So I can't wait to see you, Steve. And I'm glad that your son doesn't have a teeth clean, during this year. You can make the event. And thanks for taking the time to do this live. Where are you going to go? What are you going to go do next?
Well, I just got done working out, which is, I'm going to add this. Just, I know we're running a little long, but I was going to like get out of the gym and cut abs short and hustle to my office so I could sit with my Rode mic and my brick back brown. And I thought, this is what this event is about. I'm working out today. Like, I worked for about an hour today.
That's awesome.
And like, I was like, I'm not going to run to the office. Like, what am I going to put a tie on just to impress David and everybody? Like, this is why coming to these events or using your software or growing your business is all about. So I can sit in my freaking car and jump on a live with you whenever I want.
Yeah, it's the real thing. It's the real thing. It's what's going on in your life. So thanks for making the time in the first place. And I love that you did this in your car. That's even better.
Yeah, man. Cool. Well, thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Hey, you're welcome, Steve. I'll see you in a couple months. You came. I'll see you, man.
All right. Did we cut out?
You cut out. I thought you hung up, and then I said goodbye twice. So now I'm going to say goodbye the final time.
All right, man. We'll see you soon.